China is building a massive airport out at sea, on a man-made island. It will be one of the largest ever constructed, sitting on a massive man-made island.
To build it, engineers have literally been moving mountains, smashing them into earth and rubble.
Then, they are pouring all that material into the sea to create the foundation.
It is an impressive, yet highly controversial project, especially considering the environmental impact.
We have seen similar projects, like Japan's Kansai Airport, which is currently sinking.
Some critics even claim that this massive project is illegal.
My name is Luis, and today we will dive into the story behind Dalian Jinzhuang Airport. And
it is China's ambitious attempt to build an airport out in the open waters.
If you are not from China, you might not have heard of the city of Dalian.
It is located at the tip of the Liaodong Peninsula, just east of Beijing. The city is a major transport hub with great access to Japan and South Korea.
It is home to more than 7.4 million people, similar to Toronto or Madrid. The city's geography is quite interesting, as it is boxed in by mountains and the ocean.
so, if you wanted to find room for a new airport, you would need to get creative.
This is the city's current airport, which has served the region for decades.
50 years ago, it only served a couple of thousand passengers every year.
It was originally built on a swamp, earning it the nickname Stinky Water.
The airport was expanded and modernized several times, starting in 1984.
These expansions increased its capacity to almost 20 million passengers by 2025.
That might sound like a lot, but to give you some context, it is not even in the top 20.
Shanghai Pudong, the busiest airport in China, handled 84 million passengers last year. Because of this, Dalian would love to expand its airport even further. For example, they would like another runway, because at the moment, they only have one.
But there is a problem, as there is really no space to expand this airport any further.
Basically, there is no space at all, so they need to build a new airport somewhere else. And that is easier said than done, as Dalian is boxed in by mountains and the ocean. You definitely cannot build an airport on a mountain, but can you build one on the ocean?
This is Kansai International Airport, which is sitting on a man-made island. It was completed in the early 90s at an initial cost of $14 billion.
At the time, that made it the most expensive civil engineering project ever.
They started by building a perimeter seawall using 48,000 massive concrete blocks.
Next, they stabilized the seabed by driving 1.2 million tubes into the floor and filling them with sand.
The sand drove out moisture from the surrounding seabed, allowing it to settle and solidify.
They poured in 178 million cubic tons of earth and stabilized that with hydraulic jacks.
Kansai was the world's very first artificial island airport, and others followed suit.
Hong Kong International is another big one, for example. In 2005, Dalian drew up plans for an island airport too.
They decided to put it right here, in the water of Jinju Bay.
The plan was big and ambitious, at 20 square kilometers. Building something like this is never easy, but Dalian had experience in land reclamation.
In the 90s, they built Shanghai Square, the largest city square in the world.
In 2011, their plan was put into action, but it didn't take long to run into trouble. Dalian started with a seawall, meant to outline the island's 19-kilometer perimeter.
Trucks brought rocks from the mountains and dumped them into the water. Then, in 2013, a story hit the news, and a team of journalists started digging around. They found out that this project didn't even have any proper permits.
Without permits, Dalian's island airport was outright illegal and dangerous.
On top of that, the project didn't have environmental approval either. Artificial islands have a massive impact on ecosystems. The machinery is noisy, which stresses wildlife, and all the work kicks up sediment. The new island disrupts currents and blocks the swim routes of animals. Dalian's airport was in an area of ocean meant to be a protected reserve for Chinese spotted seals.
Dalian Airport quickly denied all these different accusations.
They said that the project had completed all the necessary procedures. But all this press wasn't a very good look, and work slowed down.
Next, they stabilized the seabed by driving 1.2 million tubes into the floor and filling them with sand.
There wasn't any official announcement, but satellite images showed a sudden stop.
The seawall appeared to be finished, but there wasn't any sign of starting the next steps.
Then in 2022, something happened. In China, the ruling Communist Party holds a Congress every 5 years.
At this Congress, leaders set the country's direction and discuss their economic strategy. There was one of these congresses in 2022, and the subject of airports was discussed.
They predicted that demand for Chinese air travel would massively increase in the next few decades.
That meant they would need new airports, and the Dalian project came up.
Then and there, the government decided to fast-track this island airport. It would now officially enter a phase of accelerated construction.
And just like that, everything started moving again.
Nearly 1,000 workers descended on the site.
Together, they made sure that the site was operational for 24 hours every day.
Their methods were similar to the ones used at Kansai more than 20 years earlier. This made the seabed extra stable, with less chance of the ground sinking.
The work scale was also monstrous, bringing in more than 280 million cubic meters of earth.
If you took all that earth and built a wall, it would be long enough to wrap around the whole world.
After filling the island, the material was compacted using heavy 90-ton hammers.
As a major milestone, this island was officially finished in 2025.
Being able to build a man-made island on this scale is pretty impressive.
It is probably the third largest in the world.
And yet, this island was only stage 1 of a massive Chinese project.
Stage 2, they need to put an airport on top, and that work is already underway.
Dalian has decided to build this airport in 2 parts.
First, they will build 2 parallel runways running north and south.
That one will be able to meet the needs of 43 million passengers. A sea bridge will also need to be built, connecting the airport island to the mainland.
Originally, this work was meant to be already finished by 2025.
But that was before those project delays we have talked about.
Now, the goal is to have flights running in and out of the airport by 2035. After that, they will add a second part to the airport,
meaning another 2 runways and a terminal expansion, which will boost the airport's capacity to 80 million passengers by 2050.
It is not just about passengers, though. This airport will also have a huge capacity for cargo.
Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.